Hi, I'm Anucha Browne, NCAA Vice President for Women's Basketball Championships. In preparation for the 2014-15 Division I women's basketball season, the NCAA hosted a mock selection, seeding, and bracketing exercise. This allows us to lift the curtain back on the process for numerous head coaches, administrators, and media. We also spend time detailing several of the changes that will be part of the process for this coming season. What hasn't changed is how the Division I Women's Basketball Committee prepares for selections, including watching numerous games in person on TV and online. Upwards or in excess of 1,200 games by all committee members combined. Gathering feedback from coaches through the Regional Advisory Committee calls and rankings conducted throughout the season. Using the Ratings Percentage Index, or RPI, throughout the season to evaluate teams. Collecting information provided by conferences and institutions on their respected teams, and the analysis and perspectives shared by each committee member. There are a number of items that are very influential in the process, including team information sheets for each of the 343 Division I institutions, which include scores and results from each of the games. Coaches' Regional Advisory Committee rankings, the monitoring of games missed for injuries and other reasons by key student athletes, conference tournament and results, and other information shared by committee members who are assigned specific conferences to monitor throughout the season.
I think the biggest thing is all the information that's available. You know, we all hear about the RPI, but all the stuff that goes into it, also all the time and energy the committee puts into watching games and just working with conferences, knowing that we have someone representing our conference on a regional committee. There's a lot of things that you think you know, but the nitty-gritty details of it have been really interesting, and the committee people here have really shared a lot of ideas and thoughts on how the process works from start to end, not just on that one weekend when the field is ultimately selected.
It was a great exercise today. You know, we've had the opportunity to have some individuals, such as Chris Dawson, who's currently on the committee, who has the last couple of years come to our women's basketball head coach meetings and share a lot of what the committee goes through with the selection and seeding process. I think today the opportunity for me to be here as a commissioner to hear firsthand also that information helps not only as we talk about women's basketball and getting multiple bids into the NCAA championship, but also there's a lot of takeaways that I can take back to our membership that relate to other sports too.
Committee members are guided in the selection, seeding, and bracketing process by the principles and procedures for establishing a bracket. These principles emphasize fairness, consistency, and balance. With the championship format adjustment in 2015 to allow for first and second round home games to be hosted by the top 16 seeds and in a non-predetermined format, several of the principles and procedures have been adjusted slightly. The committee will be adhering to the following adjustments. Each of the first 4 teams selected from the conference shall be placed in different regions if they are seated in the first 4 lines. Teams from the same conference shall not meet prior to the regional final if they have played each other 3 or more times during the regular season and the conference tournament. The committee shall attempt to keep conference teams from meeting each other until the regional final round. If the committee is unable to balance the bracket after exhausting all possible options, it has the flexibility to permit 2 teams from the same conference to meet each other after the first round. These changes give the committee the most flexibility to keep conference teams separated, but allow decisions based on geography and balancing the bracket as needed. Teams from the same conference in the top 4 lines of the bracket continue to be protected from playing each other prior to the regional competition. The committee has also tweaked the regional hosting parameters, allowing institutions to host at a neutral venue, provided that the team has not played more than 3 regular season games, not including the conference postseason tournament, in that neutral venue. First and second rounds will be awarded to the top 16 seeds that meet the hosting requirements, but there will be scenarios in which a top 16 team does not or is not able to submit a bid to host. To stay true to the bracketing principles, the committee will need to receive bids from the top 32 to 36 teams to have enough flexibility in bracketing the full field. New principles include first and second round sites being awarded to the top 16 seeded teams that submit a bid that meets the requirements for hosting. And in the event that a top 16 seed does not submit a bid or does not meet the hosting requirements, the committee will select a host from the remaining submitted bids that meet the hosting requirements. In order to adhere to the bracketing principles, it may not be possible to select the next highest seed to host.
I'm a proponent of the top 16 teams hosting. Obviously, we have been incredibly fortunate at Tennessee to be able to host a lot, and I think that's a reward for playing a good schedule, for being competitive, for doing the things that you want the tournament teams to do. So I'm all for it. I'm all for going to the top 16 teams. I'm also all for the Friday, Sunday, Saturday, Monday. I think it's a better fan experience.
Giving those top 16 teams home sites, I think it'll lead to better atmosphere, better crowds, and I think that our game really needs that. I think we need that in arena atmosphere, both for the teams that are playing there and for the product on television. I think it'll look better, it'll broadcast better, it'll be really positive for our game.
In the end, it comes down to what the team has done on court. It's not about conference affiliation, and it's not about the previous year's performance. It is about the 10-person committee with a great deal of experience and commitment analyzing each team and determining the 32 best at-large teams in that particular year. The process has many layers, but in the end, the process allows the committee members to identify the most deserving teams to be included in the field of 64.